All right, so like imagine, right? Imagine your favorite band only exists as sound. No music videos, no live streams, just the record spinning.
Wow, yeah.
It's almost impossible to think about now. But that was the reality before this huge like visual wave, I don't know, crashed over the music world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And today on the deep dive, we're gonna jump in the DeLorean. Like go back to the 1980s and really dissect the whole MTV revolution and how it impacted Gen X.
That sounds awesome.
We've got some really cool stuff here that looks at why this cultural explosion was so important and like how it's still rippling out today, you know?
Yeah, it's really, really interesting to think about how we just take it for granted now. 247 music visuals everywhere.
Oh yeah.
But the very idea was once this totally radical thing, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't just about hearing music anymore. It
Yeah.
was about seeing it too. And so in this deep dive, we wanna unearth like the roots of this phenomenon and all the big cultural shifts that came with it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the people, the visionaries who brought it to life and share some of the unexpected stories that came out of it.
Right.
And ultimately, I think, look at the lasting legacy that MTV created.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's jump right in.
Right.
August 1st, 1981. This wasn't just another day of leg warmers and big hair, you know.
Right.
This was the day MTV arrived. And the way it all started, it almost feels like something out of a movie, you know?
Oh, right.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Oh, I love that.
Right? That's how it started.
Yeah, yeah.
And then bam, right into the bugles. Video killed the radio star.
Oh, so good.
It's like they couldn't have chosen a better like anthem for what was about to happen.
It was so perfect. That
Right.
opening wasn't just, a network launch.
Right.
It was like this bold statement about the future of music.
Yeah.
And for the first time, I think music was being presented as this visual art form.
Right.
Like it was demanding your eyes just as much as it was your ears.
Yeah.
This shift, it transformed music from something that you mostly just heard
Right.
into this true multimedia experience.
Yeah.
And it was this fundamental change, this DNA change that really fueled the cultural revolution that we're gonna dive into.
Absolutely. And for Gen X, you know, those kids who were figuring things out in the 80s, MTV became like this undeniable cultural hub.
Oh, yeah.
It was the place to not only hear the music you love, but to see it, like to see these artists and how they were interpreting their own music visually.
Yeah.
You know, and this was the time when like these monumental figures emerged, right?
Totally.
Michael Jackson, Madonna, Prince, they weren't just making like incredible music. They were crafting these visual personas that were just as iconic, right?
Yeah, and what's really interesting to me is how MTV actually gave them like a platform, like a stage,
Right?
to really, really express their artistic visions.
Yeah.
You know, in a way that just wasn't possible before, you know? Like Michael Jackson's Thriller, and our sources talk about this. It wasn't just this little short film set to music.
Right.
It was a cinematic event that basically redefined what a music video could be.
Yeah.
It raised the bar for how you could tell a story in a music video and for the visual effects.
Oh yeah.
It pushed artists to think much bigger, more expansively about how they could present their music visually.
Yeah. And then you had Madonna and you had Prince who in their own ways were just as visually captivating, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they challenged so many boundaries. You know, Madonna like constantly reinventing herself, often with these provocative looks.
Right.
And Prince with these theatrical and flamboyant performances. They both like instinctively knew how to use MTV to amplify their art.
Right.
And like push against what society thought was okay, you know, in ways that music alone couldn't do.
Yeah, totally.
But, you know, it's also important to think about the people behind the scenes, the people who made all of this happen.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just the artists themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Our sources talk about Bob Pittman,
Yeah.
a co-founder of MTV.
Right.
And he had this crucial insight into this new media landscape.
Yeah.
He recognized that there was this huge potential in combining music and visuals on a dedicated platform.
Yeah. He totally got that the visual part wasn't just some extra fluff, you know?
Right.
It could actually add depth and meaning to the story the music was already telling.
Yeah.
It was about creating this more immersive experience for the viewer.
Totally.
You had a real vision for how this could change how we connected with music.
Absolutely. And you can't forget about Les Garland.
Right. His job picking the videos that would actually play on MTV was so important.
Right.
I mean, his skill at putting together this mix of different content was a big reason why the channel appealed to so many different people in Gen X.
Yeah.
He didn't just play the same top hits over and over.
Yeah.
He was really good at spotting new trends, and he really fought for all sorts of genres, which helped make MTV like the tastemaker.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he basically helped define what was cool and new for a whole generation.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about how MTV could like make these established artists even bigger,
right?
but also like create stars overnight.
Oh yeah.
Like A-ha and their Take On Me video.
Oh yeah.
That's the perfect example.
Such a good example.
Yeah, that rotoscoping animation where they trace over live action footage.
It's so cool.
It gives it that hand-painted look.
Yeah.
So unique and captivating.
Right.
It took them from this relatively unknown band and made them global, like overnight.
It's amazing.
It's amazing, right?
It's like the perfect example of how powerful the visual medium can be.
Right.
I mean, the song is catchy, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But it was the visual presentation that really made it iconic.
Right.
Our sources talk about how it became this instant classic.
Yeah.
And it proved that a really creative music video could make a song so much bigger. It showed that you didn't have to be this huge band to make a splash on MTV.
And it's also important to talk about how MTV changed when it came to diversity.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The source material talks about how at first there were criticisms about a lack of representation.
Right.
And then there was this gradual shift towards being more inclusive.
Yeah.
Wasn't always, perfect.
Right.
But it's significant that MTV eventually became a place for a wider range of artists.
Totally. And it's like it was reflecting these larger changes in culture too. While MTV might not have had a lot of diversity at the beginning.
Right.
Embracing all these different artists was actually this powerful force in breaking down racial barriers.
Yeah.
In the music industry and in pop culture as a whole,
Right.
It gave visibility to artists who might not have been able to reach a mainstream audience otherwise.
Right.
And I think that helped create more connection and understanding among people watching.
Absolutely. So when we think back to the MTV era,
Yeah.
I think the main thing we can say is that it was this major catalyst for innovation, creativity, and this huge cultural change.
Totally.
It completely reshaped what it meant to be an artist.
Yeah.
And it gave them this amazing new way to express themselves visually.
Exactly. And it moved beyond just selling records.
Right.
It became about creating this complete artistic statement
Yeah.
that brought together sound and vision.
Right.
And this had this lasting influence on how artists thought about and presented their work.
Yeah.
The music video, it became this essential part of the creative process. It wasn't just this afterthought anymore.
Yeah.
And for Gen X, it created this incredible shared cultural experience. Like millions of us were turning in, watching the same videos, talking about them with friends.
Right.
And it kind of united us through this shared passion for the music and the visuals.
Yeah.
It created this sense of community around music that I think radio hadn't really done in the same way.
And it's so interesting to see how that legacy, continues today.
Totally.
The sources talk about platforms like YouTube and TikTok.
Oh yeah.
And they're kind of like the direct descendants of MTV.
Right.
Where how something looks visually is still so important to an artist's success.
Absolutely.
And,
yeah.
and to how we engage with the music.
Yeah.
That whole idea of combining like compelling visuals with music.
Yeah.
It's still at the forefront.
It's still so key.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I think it's worth taking a minute to just think back to that golden age of MTV,
Yeah.
those iconic videos, the artists who defined a generation.
Totally.
And that feeling of excitement when you experienced music in this so visually rich way.
This prompts a question for you, the listener.
Right?
How do you see the way music and visuals are coming together today.
Yeah.
Building on what MTV started,
Yeah.
what are the new ways of expressing music visually that are grabbing your attention in this digital world?
Yeah. And thinking about that, think about how this visual element of music
Right.
that MTV really pioneered.
Yeah.
How has that changed how we connect with artists and their work?
Yeah.
Has it brought us closer, or has it made things more, superficial? And what might the next step in this relationship between what we see and what we hear
Yeah.
look like in the years to come?
Right.
It's definitely something to think about.
Absolutely something to think about.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me. This was fun.
It was great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.